FNAF 6 was my favorite Five Nights at Freddy's game. It still is. I don't know why I said it was. This game had some of the best character designs, some of the best reveals, some of the funniest things, and some of the best gameplay. But my favorite thing about this game is that I think it cleared up so much lore. It finally revealed that the puppet was Charlie and Henry's child. It put a lot more evidence to the main character's Michael Afton theory, which you pretty much all know at this point. But back then, we did not know that for sure. FNAF 6 is what really showed that, yes, this is Michael Afton. It gave us all of the names of the MCI victims and who each animatronic was. It confirmed dog theory, and this game had a perfect ending. All of the characters who are alive right now, burning all together, being Henry, Michael, William, Elizabeth, the Fun Times, and Charlie, all burning together. This game was the perfect game. Everything in this game was perfect, besides one thing this game has. This thing took everything that FNAF 6 was doing good and just threw it out the window. This thing is... I'm sure you already know what Midnight Moderist is, but here's like a quick summary of it if you don't know what it is. Basically, if you acquire the Midnight Moderist arcade machine from the shop, you can play it. You can play all of the arcade machines in this game. Very cool, very fun. And this game, it's like a little racing game, and it seems innocent. Everything's purple, my favorite color. Everything is great until lap 4. There's a hole in the ground, and if you go in the hole in the ground, you unlock a secret minigame thing, where you're driving down the road in this purple car, presumably the same purple car that you were in the actual game, and you're driving on a mysterious road until you reach a building called Junior's, and you get out of the car, and it's revealed that you're playing as this mustard fuck, and then you walk to Junior's, talk to this green guy, and he says, "Come on, you know you can't be here. Don't make this more difficult than it has to be." So Mustard Man isn't invited here. Relish Man told him no. So you drive away and you go to your house, which might look familiar. It might, who knows if it's supposed to or not. And the first person you see is this gray person, who no one knows who this is. No one knows who anyone is in this game. And this person says, "Leave him alone tonight. He had a rough day." So then Mustard Man just ignores that person and walks to the next of 3 rooms this house has for some reason. And he starts knocking on this red door for whoever's in there. And Mustard Man says, "I told you not to close the door." Then Mustard Man walks away, says, "This is my house, he can't ignore me like that." Then comes back and yells at the door saying, "Open the door." And then he says to himself, "I'll find a way in from outside." And he goes and does that. He walks around the house, looks at the window, and sees that it's broken and there's footsteps walking away. And he says, he ran off to that place again. He will be sorry when he gets back. And that's where that game ends. That's the whole minigame. There are some secrets that you wouldn't know first viewing though. At the end, when the person leaves, there's 2 animatronic footsteps, 3 toes, looking out the window. No footsteps leaving or getting there, but who knows if that means anything. There's this chunk of pixels, no one knows what this is supposed to be. And the file name for this minigame is Later That Night, which you would assume is talking about the Charlie thing, because in the FNAF 6 Charlie death, because there's like car marks leaving where she died in the FNAF 6 death. Also in the FNAF 6 death, it's raining, and it's raining in Midnight Motorist. And in the FNAF 2 Charlie death, the purple guy was driving in a purple car when he killed Charlie. So you would definitely assume that it's talking about that night, but I really don't know. Which leads me to the problem with this minigame. This minigame makes no sense. And I don't think it's meant to make sense. I think it's meant to just confuse the game because Scott saw, wow, this game is too good, and you can tell everything about this game. And this game tells a story, a good story. We should destroy that. And this minigame just has so much unanswered questions just to make it more confusing. The first thing that people were debating, and I don't think anyone knows for sure what this is Junior's. Junior's looks like a bar. I assume it's a bar. But there was some debate about it being the FNAF 2 location or something like that. I feel like this has to be a bar though, I hope. And in 5 Laps at Freddy's, I feel like Junior's just looks like a bar. I've never been to a bar, so I've 2 more years till I'm allowed to do that. But if I've ever seen a bar, that's a bar. Then the other building in this minigame, this house. This house looks just like the Afton house, right? It would have to be the Afton house, right? I don't know. The interior doesn't look like the Afton house at all. It's not the same layout. I don't know if that really matters though, because this house is so lazy. There's no decoration in here. Just look at all of the other minigames. The maps have decoration, but this is just nothing. They're just 3 rooms. One of them, all it has is a couch and a TV. Another one has nothing, and that's the only 2 rooms we see. Then there's no hallways like there would be in the Afton house. So if we were supposed to think this is the Afton house, why wasn't that included? That would have been helpful. This house sucks. And I think it proves my point of Midnight Moderist being a last minute decision just to confuse the game. Because this house is so bland basic that I think it was last minute. Then there's this pile of pixels. I don't know what this is. Some people think it could be a grave. I saw some people saying Elizabeth Afton, which works if Yellow Man is William Afton, Grey Man is Michael Afton, and the kid that we don't see is the crying child. And that sounds like a really good theory, right? That sounds like it makes perfect sense, right? Except for the fact that Elizabeth had to die after the crying child. Because Elizabeth was in the FNAF 4 minigames, or I don't even know if you'd call them minigames, but whatever that was, when Crying Child died. So Elizabeth was alive when Crying Child died, which would mean that Elizabeth died after Crying Child, which means that Crying Child can't visit Elizabeth's grave because she's not dead yet when he's still alive. So who's this grave? No clue. And that kind of leads me to, I think, the biggest problem of Midnight Motorist, the identities of these characters. Mainly Yellow Man. This has to be Afton, right? He drives a purple car. This minigame has to be related to Charlie's death, probably later that night, honestly. And he's driving the same car that killed Charlie. Then he has a kid who watches TV and a younger son. This would be Afton, right? So why is he yellow then? There is no reason for him to be yellow. Why would you make a character yellow who every other time they have been seen, they are purple or pink? I saw people say, oh, it's because it's before he's evil. And purple represents evil in this franchise. So it makes sense that he's yellow because he's not evil yet. And that would be a good theory, yeah. Besides the fact that we've seen him purple during minigames that took place before this, like Charlie's first death, and after this he's purple too. So why would he just go purple, then yellow, and then purple again? It makes no sense. There is no reason for him to be yellow. The only reason, if this is Afton, for him to be yellow is just to confuse people. But this has to be Afton, right? Who else would this be? I saw people say that someone from like FNAF6s or something, I don't know. Which makes no sense, because FNAF 6 was supposed to be the end of the franchise. You can't say it's not, because Scott Cawthon said that this was the end.
But are you satisfied with this possibly being the last game that you might create, the last FNAF game?
Yeah, I am. I really am.
And Fazbear Frights didn't exist yet, so Fazbear Frights wouldn't have been in the plan when Scott Cawthon was making FNAF 6. He had no clue what a Fazbear Frights was, besides the FNAF 3 location. So Mustard Man can't be anyone from Fazbear Frights. Then there's Henry. Henry just doesn't work at all. Because Henry can have 2 kids, that works. He had that in the book. But this younger kid can't be Charlie, because Charlie's a girl, and Mustard Man says he pronouns. So this young kid can't be Charlie. And this old kid can't be, because Charlie died too early to be this old. So Mustard Man can't be Henry either. But Mustard Man has to be an adult male. And how many adult men are in this franchise at this time in FNAF 6? 3. Michael Afton, who it's definitely not. Michael Afton doesn't have kids. William Afton, who I think it has to be, but he's yellow for some reason. Or Henry, who it's not. So Mustard Man has to be William Afton, and he's just yellow to purposely confuse people and create more theories in a game that did not need any. But William Afton still doesn't make sense, because this young child, that would make them Crying Child. But this can't be Crying Child, because Crying Child hated the animatronics. Crying Child would never go to that place again, because Crying Child hates that place. Crying Child hates Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And he can't be visiting Elizabeth's grave because Elizabeth isn't dead yet. So as a little summary of this minigame, there is no answer to this minigame. It makes no sense. And it's not supposed to make sense. There's not supposed to be an answer. This game is just to make theories out of a game that had a perfect story, perfect ending, and tied up all the loose ends. This minigame was only made to destroy that. And that's all I can say about this minigame. If you have any theories on how this minigame would work, please say them in the comments, because I'm curious what you guys think. And if you agree with me, please say that too, because I really like being validated. And that's all for the FNAF 6 minigame. But guess what? Midnight Moderist came back for some reason. In the spin-off kart racing game that Ban did better, 5 Laps at Freddy's. There is a Midnight Moderist car and map. And this map is pretty okay. It's just a cute little map, and it looks like the map from the minigame. My only problem with this is that the roads are wrong. FNAF takes place in Utah. You drive on the right side of the road in Utah, and in all of America, I'm pretty sure. Why is it the left side of the road? Why? It's a small thing, but it bothers me. And then the main offense is this car. There's a Midnight Moderist car in 5 Laps at Freddy's. Why is the charm that's on the mirror, why is that the same charm from Charlie's car? There is no way that Yellow Man is Charlie. This is just made to be confusing. This charm makes no sense, and this charm bothers me, because there is no theory that makes this make sense and makes this Charlie's car. This has to just be an identical looking charm. It has to be a coincidence, just to make people theorize. Because Midnight Motorist is the worst minigame in Five Nights at Freddy's. And that's all for this video. Thanks for watching to the end. This is kind of a long video for my channel's standards. So yeah, thank you. Please subscribe if you watch this much. And leave. This video's over. Goodbye.